Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a Lego set and a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote into chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes if you feel like being a lurker. Go ahead and lurk. John is here. Hello, John. Welcome, welcome. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. Happy to have both of you here on this fine Saturday evening. Sometimes I say the date out loud, or the day out loud, for my own benefit. So I go, oh yes, that's correct. The air conditioning is on. It is comfortable in this room. Just says happy Saturday, indeed. Yeah, it is comfortable in this room. I am excited for a fun night of Lego assembly and then some model kit building as well. Got a good kit to work on. Got a fine Lego set to build. Let's go to the overhead camera. Here's the overhead camera. This is Cooper from Lego DREAMZzz. He's got a chainsaw gun. That's fun. There's this, I assume, this monster brain thing with a chip. I don't know, something. And then we made a jet, that like a game controller jet, because, you know, imagination and all that. But alternatively, you can make a helicopter. And so I took apart the jet part, leaving what's just the controller, and then we could build up, again, bag two. And you're meant to just pick one or the other, but why not do both? So I just took them apart, and then we'll do both. I realized that on Thursday, a thing I didn't do, and that's on me, is I didn't hold this like a controller and give you my opinion on this as a controller. Now, it's the back of a jet. There are like pieces on here that would be triggers, but it's not in the helicopter part. So I'm going to imagine the triggers are here, which is pretty good. I think the button layout is all right here. If I'm playing like this, you know, playing that, the start and select buttons, maybe they're a little too, you know, depressed down there from the pads here. And also it is reversible, which is neat. I'm having flashbacks to when I had to do usability testing on some game controllers, says John. Well, I'll say that as far as usability goes, my biggest concern about this controller is I think that it is too wide of a design, and I would like to see these maybe curve in a little bit more, because this is not comfortable. This little here, maybe some rubber padding, it's just digging into my hands as I hold it, like this. I think this part feels very natural, feels really nice and comfortable. I feel like I could do this and then I could press the triggers here and it would be fine. And maybe if this is like a trackpad or something, that'd be neat. But I feel like this part is digging into my hands, and long term, I wouldn't want to play it. So either we got to make sure that we kind of cut this down a bit, or perhaps add some padding to it. They just need to make the fins longer, like the PS3 Boomerang. Yeah, I mean, if they made it longer, then my hands wouldn't want to dig in there. My hands would rest like this. If it went like that, I guess that's better. And obviously my hands are too big for this controller reasonably, but yeah. I figured I needed to at least talk about the controller, at least pretend like it's a real thing. All right, so then this piece is going to go in here. So now we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into a helicopter. As one does, as you do. Oh, okay. So this, I guess, is the control. You know, the little cockpit here. So I guess we could take Cooper's gun away. I didn't put Cooper into the jet, and I should have. So I'll put Cooper into the helicopter here. But I guess this is the control panel for like the part of the helicopter, because there's a cockpit. Like, we're gonna build a cockpit at some point, but I could put Cooper here for now, I guess. And the stickers that I already placed can be reused in the same exact spot, so that's no big deal. The fact that, you know, again, this is something that I should have chosen one or the other. I'm doing both. That's just because I thought it would be fun to do both, and why not? Why the F not, as they say. It's a Saturday. I hope you had a good weekend. Hope you got more cool stuff happening this weekend. Yesterday, I got a bunch of work done, and also prepped some stuff for next week and also next month. Had a few things that I had to get prepped for that. And then, what else did I do? Sat in the air conditioning, enjoyed the air conditioning a lot. That was good. Watched some wrestling. I did a night of catch up with some friends where I just watched a bunch of stuff. Yuki Arai, the former idol, had earlier this year had her idol graduation. She was part of SKE 48, and she was a full-time idol and a part-time wrestler. She is now a full-time wrestler. So she had her idol graduation, and that also included some matches. And that was like a pay-per-view. You had to pay extra than the normal. And I didn't get that pay-per-view because I was not interested in that. But now it's available for just people that have Wrestle Universe. So I was able to watch that. The concert that happened at the beginning of it was not available. You had to pay for that, which is fine because I don't really need to see the concert. But it was cool to watch that. So I watched that. I watched a show from one match from last week because the whole show I didn't really care about, but I wanted to see Mahiro Kiryu take on Aja Kong. Mahiro is a Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling wrestler. She's been here for several years. Her gimmick is that she's got a little bit of a deeper voice. And she's kind of plain, and she's a solid enough wrestler, but her gimmick is kind of that she's just some girl, or some woman. But often it is that she is the normal person in a sea of crazy characters. There's so many crazy characters in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and she is not crazy, not a wild character. She's just doing her best. The old joke, I'm not there to make friends. She's there to make friends. She's there to hang out and make friends and do her best. But she fought one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, certainly one of the best Joshi of all time, if not the best, in Aja Kong, the legendary Aja Kong. And it was 7 minutes, which is hilarious. Mahiro's big thing is that she knocks her opponent down, puts them on their stomach, and then kneels over them to then do a big bow, to do a big, and she usually apologizes. It's a comedy spot. She did manage, so she said before the match that she wasn't going to apologize, and then she got stared down by Aja and immediately apologized. So then in the match, she did the spot. Aja sold the spot, and she apologized for breaking her promise. And it was very good. She got beat to hell, and it was a good match. Aja Kong in later years has started bringing a trash bin to the ring, a rectangular metal trash bin that you would see in an office, a little more square than square around, and then rectangular in depth, like that, big, which is illegal for her to use, but she does anyway. And Mahiro, finally, the smartest wrestler in the room, Mahiro, was like, "Hey, please don't use that. Please don't hit me with that trash can." To which she said, Aja said, "It's a part of my body, so it's okay." And the referee was like, "Yeah, that checks out," which is obviously a lie, but a good lie. It was a good bit of business. All right, got this here. And we're gonna put these on there. Building up our helicopter. And then the thing I wanted to see more than anything this past weekend that I was very excited to see was a special match that happened at DDT this week as part of Golden Week and an outdoor festival stuff. There was a special match. 4 wrestlers competed. I guess you could say competed. And it was Dino, who is a longtime DDT wrestler. He invited wrestlers in DDT and TJPW who have dogs to bring their dogs to the ring or to the match. Because he was like, well, we're in outdoors and they allow dogs, so that way we can have our dogs and they can hang out and watch us wrestle. But Dino was like, we're going to be too distracted by our dogs and everybody else's dogs. So he also hired 2 guys to wrestle at the same time. And they had their own referee, and they were wrestling while the match was happening. And it was very silly and fun. But the 2 guys were taking it seriously, quote unquote. Meanwhile, the other match was just them hanging out with dogs and playing around, which was very fun. And then the announcer was just getting mad at the 2 guys who were taking it seriously and trying to have a regular match. They were being too loud. They were going to spook the dogs. There was a whole thing where they were standing in front of the dogs, and so the audience couldn't see. And then they went out. So they were like, what do you want from us? And one guy was like, all right, yeah, sure. We'll wrestle quieter. And eventually they figured out, we'll just go somewhere else and we'll wrestle there, which is very, very kind of them. And eventually they had to go backstage to wrestle. And then they brought the dogs through the crowd. People got to pet the dogs. Dino has a Shiba Inu, which was fucking adorable. There were 2 pugs. One wrestler brought both his dogs. There was 2 different Pomeranians, one of which is named Zach, named after Zac Efron, because Yuki Kamifuku loves Zac Efron. So she named her dog Zach, which is just real. That is not for goofs. That's just what she did. So eventually they got all the dogs in the ring, and the game they played was, will a dog ignore a treat that's in front of it to come to you, the owner, if you call for the dog? Will they ignore a treat in order to see you? And one dog did, and that kind of ended the match. And it wasn't a wrestling match. It was just a fun excuse to have people with dogs. And one of the wrestlers in the match is Yoshihiro, and she's also known as Yappy. And she is retiring next month, or in July. She's retiring soon. So she got to do a really weird DDT match, like a goofy DDT match. So I was happy about that, because she's great. Now, you may... My dogs will ignore me if anyone has a treat. Yes, John. Most dogs do. So there was no real winner. We were the winner because we got to watch it, and the live audience that was there is the winner because they got to watch that. So they won. Now, you may remember that there was a one-on-one match happening while that other match was happening. It had its own referee, and they left. Well, at the very end of the show, because this was a semi-main event, the main event happened. It was fun. 2 teams wrestled. They did their outro. The whole show was over. The 2 guys came out and finished their match, quote unquote. They had been wrestling in the back the whole time, apparently. So they had been going almost an hour. Obviously, they weren't wrestling in the back. They were just hanging out. But whatever. That's the in canon world. They were. In canon, they were still going and doing their thing. So they come back. And they're wrestling, and then all of the dogs and the dog owners and their dogs come back, and they put the dogs in the ring. Meanwhile, one of the guys has rolled out of the ring, and he has put some peanut butter on his face, and he's not showing it to the audience, but he is doing that because the idea is they want him to be on his back in the ring and have a bunch of the dogs lick his face, and the easiest way to do that was to have him have peanut butter on his face, which is like, yeah, that is the easiest way to get this to happen. So they do that spot, and the dogs all lick his face, and then he starts crying, and this big guy who looks like a sumo wrestler because his dad and his grandfather and his great grandfather were all sumo wrestlers, but he can't do sumo. He's a big guy. He's not like a heavy guy, but he's a big giant man. But he's a professional wrestler. And he started crying and then was like, so actually, let me look this up. Let me look up the name of this wrestler. And I apologize that I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I do apologize for that. It's going to be under DDT, and that's going to be which match? Show me which match that was. Let me look up the name of it. I'm looking in here, and I go to events. This is an outdoor show. Yes, early summer beer garden wrestling 1. This match. Oh, it says Yukio Naya. Yukio Naya is a giant man, and Yukio starts crying and saying, "I get it. I understand. I love dogs now." And that was the end of the match. And it's obviously a no contest, but technically he won by coming into his own and finally believing in the wonderfulness of animals. And that's how the show ended, because DDT is a nonsense company that I love very, very much. So Yukio Naya, while I was talking about Yukio Naya, why he is not a sumo wrestler, allegedly, he trained in sumo and kickboxing, but he became a professional wrestler. Allegedly, because he can't do sumo, because allegedly his father, a retired sumo wrestler who did some pro wrestling of his own and opened a wrestling school, allegedly ran a betting ring on sumo wrestling, which sumo fucking hates the very idea of it. So he is a disgraced man that can never train sumo anymore. And perhaps his son Yukio Naya can never, ever do sumo because of his dad. And instead, he went purely into professional wrestling. Again, these are all allegations. None of this has been proven in court. Please do not come after me. But Yukio Naya is a giant man. He is 6'7", and he is a big man with shocking bleach blonde hair. He's like got a cool outfit that he comes to the ring in, and his wrestling gear is really cool. And he's a perfectly okay wrestler. Yukio Naya is perfectly fine at professional wrestling. He is A-okay. But it was a very good bit in a fun little show. I don't watch enough DDT, but I definitely knew I had to watch that because that's the shit I'm here for. Good, goofy stuff like, hey, what if we had a match and our dogs came? Like, that to me is just like, yeah, what if? 1 year at a improv festival that I used to take part in and help organize, somebody submitted a show where the idea was a bunch of dog owners were going to come and do improv with their dogs. And that proved to be an incredibly popular idea because people were like, I mean, I'm already going to see some improv, but also I get to see some dogs. And yes, there were some attempts to do improv with the dogs, but mostly it was just an excuse to see a bunch of dogs. And, people took them into the audience and you got to pet some dogs. And it was just a nice little break. Lovely bit of business. Very happy to see that. And this kind of felt like that, where it wasn't about the wrestling. It was about hanging out with dogs and having a good little time. Just a nice show you could enjoy. So I had fun with that. That was great. And then I have somebody in my larger friend group that was like, hey, did I miss the dog match? And I was like, yes, but we could watch it again. So I might watch that again on Sunday. I'm going to see. I have the video file ready in case that becomes a thing we want to do. I'm ready to. I have no problem seeing that again because it was very fun and silly. All right, we got our cockpit here. Oops. And our cockpit has to go on this here because this is a helicopter of sorts, I guess. So we did put Cooper in the cockpit. It doesn't really connect, which seems fraught, but also I'm certainly no expert when it comes to helicopters. And if anyone says I'm an expert in helicopters, they are lying to you, and you should not trust them. But regular old helicopters seem fucking like dangerous. So this weird dream helicopter is like, yeah, if it's not perfect, I think that's fine, because regular old helicopters also seem a little dicey. All right, so we could put in some rockets in here. We're not going to worry about that. This does spin, and then these move a little bit here, but we get some spinner action here, and we do have Cooper hanging out. So this is a game controller jet. I think this is very dangerous, so hopefully, this stays down. But yeah, we can get, whoops, that flew right off. We can get, see, very dangerous. See what I'm saying? But yeah, we can get a little spin here. Oh no. I go to flick it, and I'm being too strong, and it just flies right off. So I guess I should go like this. There we go. Chopper, 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 chop, 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 chopper. Chopper, 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 chopper. And I'll turn it on the side so you can see. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh yeah, these are blue, but if I turn it like this, they look green because of the neon yellow behind it. Yeah. Pretty fun little thing. The Lego Dream sets, I've enjoyed very much. I think they are really inventive and cool. I am a big fan of them. I would definitely buy another. Every Lego Dreams I've built, kit I've built, or set I should say, I've had a really good time with. So I would certainly do another one of these. And I do like the idea that, you can't really, it's not the easiest thing in the world to switch between them, but you could, if you wanted to, go back and forth between this and you have to keep the extra parts, because there are parts that we didn't need for this that we needed. And then there was like only a couple parts that were for this version and not the other. But the jet, I think, looks really cool, and I think the helicopter is a neat addition. Lashbrook says, I feel like they could have altered the controller more so the button pads became wheels. Yeah, I mean, also, reminder that there's an animated thing to this, so there's a component of that. So, like, the animation and the practicality has to, like, find I don't know which comes first. They come up with the sets and then they make the cartoon, or if they make the cartoon and then they're like, and then how possible is it to make the set like this? I don't know. I don't have those answers. But yes, they, instead of just the controller and also there's a jet, or the controller and there's a helicopter, they could have done something with making the controller parts more quote unquote functional. But the idea is that one of the controller parts becomes the cockpit. I think is pretty neat. But yes, these could have been wheels. They could have done something with that. But my guess is that they don't, because in the cartoon, the controller is important for something. That's my guess. I don't know. That's my guess. Anyway, well, I got to take a photo of this before we can move on to the model kit that we're going to start building. My favorite thing of an anime that I think is pretty mid, but I gotta take a photo, sir. So I gotta do over here, or I'm not on camera, unlock my phone while I'm not on camera, and then go here, and I need to take a photo of our helicopter here. Let me just move this here. Got a little alien friend here as well. Whatever this thing is. There we go. Helicopter, Lego helicopter. And then I will disassemble this after the stream, and then it will go and become a, it'll go, and then it will get added to another box to eventually get mailed out to Lego Replay, where those parts get cleaned, and then they become, bundles that go to kids. Neat. Which is fucking awesome. Cool program in the United States, and I believe Canada as well as a program as well. I haven't sent out anything this year yet. I have a couple boxes. I have been lazy about going to the store to mail those out. But I do need to do that. I need to do that. Anyway, let's bring up this. The RX-78 GE Gundam EX from Requiem for Vengeance. That's what the RFV stands for, Requiem for Vengeance. This is the second kit I've been building here. I did the Zaku, and now we're working on the Gundam. As I said, this is the coolest fucking thing from this show that I found to be mid. I think the art, the fact that it was done in Unreal, that's one Netflix-ass looking Gundam. Yes. So much so that the box advertises that it's on Netflix. This was also on the box for the I should actually zoom out a little bit here. Zoom out a little bit. This was also on the box for the Zaku that was on there as well. Clear pink beam saber. Don't love that as much. You know, I like it to be a little darker and not as pink. But yes, this kit is from 2024 from the show. I think they only made 2 model kits for this. I want to say they only did this in the Zaku. If I am wrong, they may have done something for Premium Bandai, but I don't think they did anything else for the show for general release. If that's incorrect, my apologies. But I could actually look at it, and that's probably something I could have done before now. So if I go to Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, and then I do wiki. Okay, let's see. The Gundam wiki says put some characters, mechanics. Okay, that is not, this is, oh, I went to the wrong wiki. I went to the fandom wiki instead of, yeah. I don't want to be on the fandom wiki. Get me out of this fandom wiki. I want to be in the Namu wiki. That's where I'm looking for. The Namu wiki. Nick wiki will tell me modeling. That's what I want. I don't want to be the, yes, modeling. Okay, okay, yes, I was correct. Boo. Personally, system job. The Gundam EX that we were building tonight and the Zaku 2 F-Type Solari machine were both regular releases. The Ridian machine, which is the variation of the Zaku 2 F-Type, so there's a variation of it, that is a Bandai Limited. And then also there's another version of the Zaku 2, which is the Gale machine and the Chavez machine. So they did the other Zaku 2s that showed up, the variant Zaku 2s, they made some mobile suit variants of that. So they're just the same Zaku 2s, only slightly different. Mostly different color, although the Ridian has a different shield, which I remember now was pretty cool. Did you by any chance nab any of the Miku Gundam special releases? No, I did not. I have not bought a premium kit since last year, and special release stuff is... So, look, here's the thing. Occasionally there's something that catches my eye that's like, this is so weird and so cool that I really want to build this. But generally, they are rarely, in my opinion, worth the price for what you're getting, because I have to think about model kits in the regard of something that I will build for all y'all to watch me build, right? I kind of have to think that way. And so premium Bandai kits, I think, are fucking rad, but I can't really justify them. Now, the G Gundam kits that are only available through Premium Bandai, I've been getting those because I think that's interesting. I didn't get the Ultron Gundam that was up for pre-order because that's just it would be nice to have, but with shipping and all that, it was like $40, and I really can't justify a $40 model kit right now that is just a high grade that is cool, but it's not that cool. It doesn't feel that special. So I kind of can't justify that. It has to be something kind of wild for me to justify for myself spending all that money. For me, the G Gundam kits, because the fact that there are G Gundam outside of the main Gundam and maybe the Master Gundam, I would not have expected any of those, like the God Gundam. The idea that I, like maybe those, but I built the Rose Gundam and the Maxter and the Dragon Gundam. Like, that's wild that I got to build those. That's just still kind of very strange. They haven't done the Bolt yet, but if they make the bolts, probably get the fucking bolts, because that's wild. Because I've only been able to build those kits in non-grades. So that's kind of how I feel right now about those things. All right, so how does this fold in? This goes in like this, and then... Where do you go? How do you fit? I did run into this issue with I ran into this issue with the RX with the Zaku, is that I think that these instructions are bad. I think some of these instructions are not good. Like, this says this piece here, and then there's an arrow pointing down. But is it like here? Like, where do you want this piece to go? Like, what? Like, where is this arrow pointing? And then it says, make sure that the parts are facing the right way. And then it says, tightly fit the part as far as they go. But I'm not quite sure where it goes. Does it go here? Is that where I'm looking? Because it's arrow like this. And then there's some parts that... This is the face of the kit. But then it's... Is it supposed to go in the top and then slide down? Is that what you're telling me? Or it goes in like this? Like... Slide in? It slides... Okay, it slides in? Is that right? I'm looking at the back. That feels very loose. That doesn't feel right. I'm surprised they haven't announced a real RG Master Gundam. Yeah, I would say they definitely should do a real grade Master Gundam. I think this is how this looks. So let me look at the old photo here. Get this big. That doesn't help me. Yeah, no. Okay, there is a... Okay, so I think I did this correctly. We'll find out later. I think this is right. And that's how it should look. And then this is like a weird image of it. Okay, so this is like looking at it like... All right, yeah. So if I put this like this so it matches the photo, this is how it's supposed to go. These instructions were just very bad. All right. Because it has to go in through the back and slide in. All right. I think this is right. We'll find out if I'm doing this wrong, but I think I did it correctly. And my apologies. But yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of where I sit on model kits these days. Is I want to get... I mean, I'm buying high grades. I'm buying older kits because some older kits are expensive, but kits that like show up in a lot of stores or get reissues of older kits are reasonably priced, so I get those. Whereas like I could pre-order from Amazon, and I might pre-order a couple things from Amazon of the kits that haven't come out yet for the new series. So I might end up doing that. But I haven't like made necessarily plans for it. But just like, what if I wanted to get the main Gundam from the show? I think it's on my wish list right now. but the seller isn't doing like free ship, or it's doing free shipping, not prime shipping. So it'll take forever to get to me if someone ended up buying it or if I end up buying it. But also it's like, let me see what the price is on this let me see if I can find it. I don't even remember how much it was, but I feel like somebody put it on. It's on here. Maybe I didn't even put it on my wish list. I can't remember. I was looking today at model kits because I try to keep my list with shit. I think I didn't put it on there because it was like the shipping options were bad, so I didn't even include it on the list. But yeah, I mean that's just, I don't have a local. If I walked into a local, I could probably get the kit that the kits I'm looking for. Should I pre-order from USA Gundam Store some of the kits that are coming out this, fall and winter from the show? Probably. I haven't yet. I probably should. Okay, so I think this is right. I think these are correct. There's no polycaps for this because it is since Witcher Mercury, we have only seen polycaps in kits that are really old that have like a modern upgrade. So if the kit is based on a new design from 2022 on, we're not seeing polycaps anymore, which is wild that we've gotten to that point. It's cool as hell that we've gotten there, but it's still a little wild. I want to do an update on a previous conversation we had on Thursday. You may remember that we were talking about how an artist who does not have their official name out there, a graphic designer, found their artwork used in Marathon, Bungie's Marathon, in the alpha. And Bungie has responded to this. They apologized for the uncredited, uncompensated use of another artist's work in the texture sheets and Marathon alpha test. Anti-Real is the name of the artist. I think I probably said it wrong on Monday or on Thursday. This is not the first time that something like this has happened. The last time it was, they said it was related to a contracted employee. In this case, it is an employee that is no longer working there, but that seems to be unrelated to this issue. If that's... we're dropping... we are dropping some... this has been a while since this happened here. My apologies, friends. It has been a long time since we had that big bitrate drop. Hopefully we'll stabilize. But we didn't lose anything, so that's nice. But yeah, big old bitrate drop there. We're climbing back up. My apologies. But I'm glad that we didn't get disconnected, because that would be a bummer. But yes, there's been issues. So they said, let's see. Okay. We immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed a former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. The issue was unknown by our existing art team, and we are still reviewing how this oversight occurred. We take matters like this very seriously. We reached out to Anti-Real to discuss the issues and are committed to do right by the artist. The company added it's conducting a review of the former artist's work and implementing stricter checks on its art team to ensure no inappropriate assets are used. That feels look, is that a coincidence? Is it hard to believe that somebody who would steal art probably also, pissed people off and got let go? Or did shoddy work enough? And again, should make this very clear, this secondary point, getting laid off has nothing to do with the work you do, almost exclusively. So I don't know if this person was laid off. We don't know any details. I also don't know if it's true. I don't have to give Bungie the benefit of the doubt that they're being serious when they say, oh, yeah, well, that person doesn't work here anymore, and we're figuring it out, and we're going to review the other work they did to make sure that it wasn't stolen art either. Like, I could give them the benefit of the doubt, but like I said, there have been other incidents with Bungie where artwork, fan art, ended up in the game, uncredited, unpaid for fan art ended up in Destiny on 2 occasions. So like, I can only give so much. I'm having trouble getting this piece on here. All right, we're gonna get this guy here. Yeah, I gotta say, these Requiem for Vengeance kits, I think, you know, the Zaku looked pretty neat, and I think the design of this one's cool, but I think the instruction booklets are some of the worst I have seen in a long time. This piece here, this is how this looks. There's the overhang there. It's not the other way. It goes like this. And then this piece looks like this. And then it's supposed to fit in somewhere. I can't see where it's supposed to fit in, per se. Exactly. And then this piece also is supposed to fit on the other side. Once I figure out one of these pieces, the other one will fit right in. You can kind of see from the photo how it's supposed to look. These just don't want to fit in anywhere. That's really fucking frustrating, as I said. Let me see if I can see. All right, so this piece is what we're looking for. You can see there in the chest. This piece is going to be like this. You can't see my hands moving right now, but I'm looking at the piece. All right. I can at least see how it's supposed to look. Now, how that piece ends up on this, I don't know yet. But at least now I can look at the big photo here and see how the piece is supposed to be fitting in. And hopefully I can get it. But yeah, I'm having a fucking tough time with this kit. Oh boy, yeah. All right, let me make this smaller. Send it up here again. Sorry, everybody, that we're weirdly delayed here as I try to get these pieces to fit in where they need to fit in. I can tell it's supposed to just slide right in there. There it is. Okay, I have no idea why that was so tough, but now that I've got one side, I should be able to get the other side in, and I did. That was, I don't know why that was so fucking hard, but it was. And I do remember the last time I would do one of these kits. Also, there were a few parts that I was like, why is this so frustrating? Why is this one weird piece so weird? So yeah, got that in. But yeah, we don't know what's going on with this Bungie thing. Yes, in 2024, Bungie confirmed a piece of fan art was used to decorate in-game collectible in Destiny 2. And in 2023, it was going to they said they would compensate and credit an artist whose work was used in a cutscene, produced in part by an external vendor, as they claimed. And in 2021, Chris Shannon apologized for somebody's art appearing in a trailer. And then, of course, you may remember that in 2017, there was an in-game item that paid homage to a flag done held by white supremacists that had gotten put in the game. Fun. Fun. All right, so this looks like this. This slides in like that and slides down over it. All right, that looks pretty good. I think that's right. That was at least not difficult to put that piece on, and then it slides in like this. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And then we'll put a piece on the back. I like this gray. Is definitely an off-white, but I think the color looks cool. And especially, it works with the art style in the show. I think it does work and blends and fits well. And so I was looking forward to working on this for a while there, because I thought the kit itself looked really neat. Let's see. There's other things in the world of video games that we can chat about. Some other stuff. Tencent has purchased 25% of a spin-off subsidiary from Ubisoft. So they now have a quarter of it. So basically, this is Ubisoft and Tencent were like, we are going to make a subsidiary spin-off that is a partnership between our two companies. And so now we know that Tencent now has 25% of that company. And Ubisoft gets some money for that. And is that all of this legal? It seems like maybe. It seems like maybe this is all on the up and up, but also maybe seems a little like, well, then what? I thought this was a joint effort. Then why are they buying shares of this joint effort, and what is going on here? But Ubisoft needs some cash, so this is a way that they are getting some of that cash, I guess. Oh, okay, so we gotta put this on here, and then this goes like this. There we go. I got it now. All right, there we go. That took a little effort to snap that in, because it's got to go like behind the back plate here, slide in. Feels like maybe that should have gone, but it couldn't go in before that. I don't know. Weird. And then I need F1, or sorry, F8 and F7 over here. 7 here. Let's see. Kind of in slow news at the end of the week. You know, a lot of this is Friday news, and sometimes Friday is not that big of a news time. Although a thing that did happen on Friday was that there was a Darth Vader in Fortnite saying a bunch of fucking bullshit in James Earl Jones's voice, because it was a chat bot doing an AI impression as Darth Vader, and it dropped several slurs. Star Wars and AI are colliding in one of the biggest games around. Darth Vader joined Fortnite on Friday. Unexpected, unlike so many crossover cameos in Epic's games. This one will talk back to you and your friends while you're doing some stuff. It's voiced by a digital replica of the late James Earl Jones. And Epic says the Star Wars actor's family is okay with the whole thing. Which, if you have to say that, maybe you shouldn't fucking do it. If you're like, hey, don't worry about it, they said it's okay. It's like, well, it's still that doesn't make it okay. That just means that people involved with it are all right, but that's not the same as this is cool that we are doing this. Especially because, like, it's not, AI is not intelligent. We keep stressing the artificial. We fucking got it. This shit is artificial as fuck. It's the intelligence portion that is up for debate. If you talk to them, he will respond back using conversational AI, they said in a blog post. Darth Vader is touched down once again as a boss in Battle Royale, replacing Darth Vader Samurai. Be the first to recruit him, and your whole team will be able to take turns talking to the Dark Lord. Just remember to press the special Darth Vader button that'll pop up to talk to him. So, one of the first instances of him saying fuck was a streamer said, "What freaky fucking food is that, Darth Vader?" And then Darth Vader responded, "Freaky fucking such vulgarity does not become you." Which is a weird fucking thing that I just said out loud, but true. That is a true thing. So that's fun. And then, but fun, I mean, none of this is fun. Yeah, you can get to be racist. They had an FAQ that the James Earl Jones Darth Vader AI uses Google Gemini 2.0 Flash model to generate responses. And then 11 Labs Flash version 2.5 model to create the audio. And apparently, if you are under the age of 13, you need your parents' permission before talking to the AI, which is very fucking funny. It's just a weird, like legal, because that, you say that because legal said, hey, you have to include that in the blog post. They ran it by legal, and legal was like, you got to say this part. That's just funny. Because, what they don't care about the other thing. Obviously, legal doesn't say, hey, you shouldn't do this. It's weird. They're just like, you got to add this disclaimer before you do this bullshit. So you may be wondering, why did they do that? Why? Well, part of it is that everyone needs to use AI, and everyone needs to justify using AI, which fucking sucks, of course. But also, shortly before his death, James Earl Jones signed over the rights of his voice to Disney, or Lucasfilm, I should say, but through Disney. He previously did that. We hope this collaboration with Fortnite will allow both longtime fans of Darth Vader and newer generations to share in the enjoyment of this iconic character, who is, of course, a genocidal, planet-destroying motherfucker. He was the chosen one, and he betrayed everyone. So, he's real cool. Real cool. So we'll put him in Fortnite and have him say slurs. It really sucks. Spokesman for Epic told Kotaku that Vader's use of swear words has been patched out. We pushed a hotfix within 30 minutes of this happening in game, so this shouldn't happen again, they wrote in an email to Kotaku. They elaborated on some of the guardrails in place to prevent the AI from promoting self-harm or engaging in other less than ideal battle royale banter. And then they have, basically, they're like, we're going to punish people that make our AI say things that are bad. Because of course, folks, they can't reliably say that their AI won't be bad. If a player is repeatedly attempting to get Darth Vader in Fortnite to violate our settings and instructions, he will eventually leave the squad, and the player will be unable to recruit him again in that gameplay session. We've added a new parental control so parents can choose whether to allow voice and written communication with AI features across Epic's products. This includes interacting with Darth Vader if a child is under 13 or their country's age of digital consent, whichever is higher. This parental control is off by default and will require a parent or guardian to affirmatively turn it on. So they put in a parental control that isn't on by default. That's very great. Good job. If a player believes Darth Vader in Fortnite responded in a way he shouldn't, they can submit a bug report. We'll investigate reports and, if needed, make adjustments to avoid similar responses in the future. So you can don't put it on social media if Darth Vader starts saying stuff. If Darth Vader starts defending white South Africans, don't worry about it. Don't post it on social media. Just report the bug. I know that's grok and that's not the same, but it's a good joke and I stand by it. It's a good joke. I made a good joke. Jokes don't have to be accurate to be funny. They can just be related. Anyway, that fucking sucks. That sucks shit and I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate our future. I hate the future that is actually the present. Hey, Meep. Hi. I hate the idea that this is made with the express permit, that this is made with because they own the rights to James Earl Jones' voice. I hate that Disney said, yeah, that's a good idea. I hate that Epic, someone conceived of, well, we should use AI to have Darth Vader talk to you and converse with you. That would be great. I hate all of it. I hate that people were like, this is a good idea. And then I also hate that one of their fucking solutions is, well, if you're trying to make our AI break terms of service, then you don't get to play with Darth Vader anymore. You'll go on the no-no list and Darth Vader will fucking disappear and won't hang out with you anymore. What? This is Nick says, can't wait to watch AI Pat Bear making AI Gunpla in 2075. God, see, here's the thing, right? Enough of my voice exists on the internet that someone could make an AI model of my voice, right? They could. Someone could do that because I have enough videos. You could feed in. You could steal a bunch of stuff off YouTube, break terms of service for YouTube to grab a bunch of videos off there and then feed them to a model and train that model on my voice, which has had differences in the past 6-7 years of me streaming and making YouTube videos and all that. Certainly, I made YouTube videos before, but whatever. You could do that. The new Bezos Saudi AI partnership will use Twitch VODs. Yeah. I mean, it's just like you could use my own voice to make AI of me. It still wouldn't work and wouldn't be good and wouldn't make sense, but you could. And that sucks. That's the fact that is a true statement pisses me off, makes me sad at the same time. It's both. It's a fucking bummer in so many ways. Nightmare bummer scenarios here. It sucks. We're almost done with the chest here. We're going to get the chest done, then we're going to take a pause for the cause, and I can talk about ways you can support the channel and all the stuff I'm doing there, and various things like that. And then we'll get back to, we'll work on the head, which will be our first sticker from this kit. Various head stickers. We have options of eyes here, which is cool. And then I'll also talk about some anime. I got 3 anime episodes to chat with you about. Let's kind of go over the overview. I'm not going to deep dive into those. And then we'll talk about stuff you got going on and all that, all those things and things. So let me just finish this up here by putting this in here. There we go. Had to snap that piece in. There's a little click on there, and then the chest. Now this needs to be panel lined with a black marker. And we will do that after the pause for the cause. It already has a ton of detail on it, but we can add that. And there will be we can do some marking stickers as well. We can add some marking stickers when the kit is done. We won't do that as it goes. We will have to put on some eye stickers and some head stickers. Most of these stickers are going to be head related. And all of these eyes look very similar to me. I don't know what the difference is, so we'll just pick one and put them on there. After the pause for the cause. All right. Sorry. So, what's the pause for the cause? You may be wondering if you're new here. Hi, hello. This is my opportunity to talk to you about ways that you can support what I do here. Everything I'll talk about is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. I'm not trying to pressure you to do any of this stuff. But if you'd like to, that would be great. And you can help me continue to do the things that I'm doing here. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote into chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here financially with your cash money for your subscription. Or you could use your Prime token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get a token. You can use that for a person every month. If you want to use it for me, you could do that. And that is a way to help me out. You could also gift a sub. We are currently at 28 subscribers. My goal is to get to 40. I shut up about the number of subscribers I have when I hit 40. If you want to be like John and gift a sub, you could do that. You could also, drop some bits and coins in there and make your way to the top of the cheerleader board. Those are things you could do. They're the easiest thing because you're already here on Twitch. So if you wanted to, you could do that. I also have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. There is a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. My $10 patrons voted for me to be working on this model kit. My $10 patrons get to vote on what I work next. I give them some options, and they pick. Because I have a backlog of stuff that I'm happy to work on, and they get to decide what I work on next. I have a YouTube channel, of course, over at youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, you can, of course, subscribe for free, and I would encourage you to do so. You could also become a member. And over on my YouTube channel, for just $2 a month, you get to see my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. You get them a day early before other people get to see them. So consider perhaps joining me over there. Now, those are monthly ways to support me. But if you just like to throw something in the tip jar, my Ko-Fi or my PayPal, you could do that. If you're like monthly does not appeal to you, but you want to throw a couple dollars my way so I can keep doing what I'm doing. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I pull money to buy model kits. This kit that I'm building right now, that we started tonight, I was able to purchase that because there were funds available. And every month more money comes in, and that goes right into buying model kits so that I have a backlog of stuff to work on. Thank you very much for helping out streams by subscribing and doing all that. Now, as I've mentioned, I have a backlog of stuff, which I always like working on. If you want to have a hand in what I'm building next, you could buy something that would then jump the queue and be the next thing I work on. If you go over to my Amazon wish list, you can buy something there. It will come to me in the mail. I will have a video for it called a mailbag video, all about the thing you purchased, and then it will jump the queue and become the next thing that I work on. I have a Magic the Gathering jigsaw puzzle, the third in a series. I have done 2. This is the third one. A 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. I have model kits and Lego sets on the wish list. A very old Zaku 1 kit that I would be happy to work on. Lots of Zaku 2s in my career. Only a few Zaku 1s. All kinds of different model kits, Lego sets, inexpensive stuff, very expensive stuff. Some very old kits that are like 25 years old, or kits that are like from 2 years ago. All kinds of different things and things that I'd be happy to work on. Some of them get real pricey. Some of them are from a movie. The Gundam Seed Freedom movie had a bunch of kits come out for it. And I put some newer ones of those on the wish list that I would be happy to build. Even something from Char's Counterattack is on there. If I wanted to finally finish my build every Char red kit, there's like one that I haven't built yet. The Jack Duga. Which also, I would hey, I'm just going to say this right now. If you want to buy the Jack Duga for me to build, I would love to say that name for 2 to 3 streams. It would make me very happy. Also, I should say, there is a red Zagok that is not Char related from Gundam Seed Freedom, and it is a cool version of the Zagok. And I would also like to say that several times. That's on the wish list as well. But yeah, if you see something there you'd like to see me build, you can buy it off the list. It'll come in the mail. I'll make a video about it and jumps the queue. You could also, if you want to jump the queue and have me build something, perhaps you know it's my birthday next month and you want to get me a birthday present from my wish list. You could. You could also buy something from my Throne wish list. It's nice having alternatives to Amazon. It's just nice. It's a much more limited list. And much more expensive items, unfortunately. And then, if you want to support me financially in the most convoluted way possible, you could always go to USA Gundam Store and buy a gift card there. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you could send me a whisper on Twitch or a private message on Twitter or Mastodon or Blue Sky with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. And that way you'll not only be supporting me, a small businessman, you'll be supporting another small business in USA Gundam Store. Those are options that are available to you. Now, if you want to support me, but you're just not going to spend any money to do it, another way to do that is to go to my Discord. I have a nice little Discord. You're welcome to join it. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a great way to know what's going on with me. So you could do that if you wanted to. Couple video links for you to check out. The most recent episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club involves me talking about a subject that I hold near and dear to my heart, which is being mad about anime. It was a cathartic video for you to make where I talked about some of the worst, to me anyway, plot reveals and plot twists in anime. I talked about a few shows, some of which is just like a character reveal that I hate, or like the big twist in the show that undermines the fucking show. That kind of thing. Just things I think were handled poorly. One of which, and it's spoilers abound. Spoilers abound for this, but if you'd like a little bit of catharsis where I just talk about some shit that pisses me off, you could in the comments. I will do a like positive version of that maybe at some point. The like cool surprises in anime or something like that. Because sometimes shocking doesn't have to be bad. In this case, it's bad. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. All throughout the month of May, I am recommending anime from the 2000s. Some of this anime is very well known. Later in the month, I'll talk about some that are a little less known. Black Lagoon. I think Black Lagoon is more well known in America because the dub was really well received. And also because they didn't remove the clips from YouTube early on. It was a show that clipped very well. And the dub of it specifically showed up on YouTube a lot and didn't get taken down for a really long time. And I think that just like people that went and watched the anime because they were like, oh, this is very fun. It is an action-heavy anime about some modern-day pirates, mercenaries, and the guy that definitely does not want to fucking be part of the team who becomes part of the team. So you get a fish out of water story, and it is a tight-knit. We've got a small little main cast, but plenty of supporting characters. It is over the top. It is great as hell. If you want to see a cool girl with dual pistols do cool shit with dual pistols, it's a show for you. There's some good shit in there. Real good stuff in that show. God, it goes off the fucking rails. There is some catharsis. There's some evil kids. There's a lot of shit in that show. But yeah. Maybe you want to check out Black Lagoon. It's pretty fucking rad. And that's all the links and stuff. That's my personal, like, hey, these are things. Sorry, I had to scratch. That I wanted to say. I have 3 anime episodes to talk to you about, so we'll get to that and get caught up. It's a lot of girls doing things stuff. I have been told that Once Upon a Witch's Death should not be classified as girls doing things, but it's just that what the main girl is doing is trying to save her own life, and that apparently is not cute. And I was like, that's why I don't say it's cute girls doing things. I just say it's girls doing things. It's supposed to be cute girls doing cute things, and I'm like, nah. Like Rock as a Lady's Modesty, that's a fucking girl doing things show. It just happens what they're doing is fucking rocking, and then also maybe being gay. Maybe. That's my next Pat Bear's Anime Club, is all of the goddamn girls doing things shows this season. We got a fucking plethora of those. I did the research. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9. And then I think that there are like actually 13. Because I think there's some that don't get included in that. Did you know that there is another anime adaptation of Anne of Green Gables? I forgot I saw that there is a new one and forgot. And that is considered a girls doing things show. And who considers that? Users of Annie Chart. So who cares? But they don't include Once Upon a Witch's Death or Rock as a Lady's Modesty in there, and I think they're wrong. Maybe it's 11. I don't know. They say 9, and I say, we'll see. Anyway, in order to talk about that anime, I gotta get back to the overhead camera. I gotta work on this model kit some more. We gotta talk about some anime, and then we'll talk about some other stuff, I'm sure. But in order to do that, we do need to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera, and I gotta drink some water. And we'll do both those things right now. John wants me to dance button, and I will. If you're unfamiliar, you can redeem channel points for you to do various things. I have a real physical bell that I can ring. I have this. I have a sound effect that says yeah. But also, there's a dance button, and I'll play a song, and I change the song every month, and I will kind of dance, but it's hard to dance in this very nice chair that I'm sitting in. But yeah, we'll get a little dancing in as I do this. Do 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 do. Hell yeah. Good beat drop. Yes, I think the drop is pretty damn good there. I agree with you, John. So, one thing I did want to say, I got called out on this, and I felt like I needed to respond to it, so I am responding to it. A friend of mine, who I didn't know was watching the streams, I think they're watching the VODs, texted me and said, "Why do you drink water like a ventriloquist?" And I assume what they mean is that when I'm drinking water on stream, I turn my head and tilt back, like I turn my head away to drink my water. And it's kind of like I'm doing that to show you that I'm drinking water, as if a ventriloquist was going to do that to then keep talking. That's not my intention. I don't want to drink water like this right here, because then my glass is going to hit the microphone and might hit the microphone and then splash water into my face, or have my teeth hit the glass. So I just turn away so that I am avoiding my microphone. So if you've ever wondered why I turn away to drink water in that transition, Also, I do the water bit to force myself to drink water because I'm talking for 2 straight hours, and I don't, when I'm model kit building, I don't stop to drink water enough. Which is also why I have a command for water. You could, it's not a channel points, it's just a, oh wait, it is a channel points. You could do a channel points thing for me to drink water. That's right, it is, right? Oh no, it's not. It's an exclamation point water. Oh no, I have a channel points for hydrate. Yeah, that's right, I do. I do have a channel points to hydrate. Maybe you could do that if you want to. But also, you could just do exclamation point water, and you as a viewer could also do that, and then I drink some water. As you see, I do it like that because I don't want to hit the microphone. John says, I think you should learn ventriloquism and talk through the water drinking act, or however that works. To which I say, John, of all the things that people have asked me to do and the advice that I have been given, no one has ever suggested that I learn ventriloquism. A lot of people have, from a good place, given me ideas of things I can do because I'm underemployed, or if I want to grow my streams and what I should be focusing on, and all of that. And sometimes that advice is great. And sometimes that advice is unbelievably short-sighted. Like it's been a long time since Lord Crashington's on a 230 stream streak. That's awesome. Hey, Lord Crashington, thanks for being here. It's been a long time since someone said this, but I have had people say that I should send a tape in to Lorne Michaels. Like, I've had people that think that I should send a self tape in for SNL. Because, they knew I was in New York doing comedy stuff. In the same way that people were like, you should send your resume in, you should just go to Broadway theaters and ask if they're hiring, in the tech department. Not ask if they're hiring actors. Just various things I've been, given that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, they often mean well. I will say this. The only time that someone has said anything to me where I had to pause because I didn't have a good answer for them. Most of the time people will give me that advice and it's just like, okay, well, you don't know how that works, but I appreciate you're looking out for me, right? I appreciate that. Like, people that are just like, you're funny, why aren't you running for the Onion? And it's just like, okay, well, why is that a challenge? Why are you like accosting me about this? I was once at a barbecue, and it was a family barbecue. I was a friend of one of the people. I got invited. I showed up, and then I said the immortal words to my friend, "Hey, am I supposed to be at this barbecue?" Because it was a lot of family and friends, and they said, "Yes, it's fine, Pat." They said this, and it is important for the story, that they said, Pat, it's fine. You will not even be the whitest person at this barbecue. And I said, okay. That wasn't true because the whitest person who had got invited didn't go. I was the whitest person there. And hey, I'm saying this because it's the story, like, fucking cool. All right, whatever, no problem. Especially in my 20s. Oh boy, family members love me because I'm sociable. I'm respectful and sociable, and I know barbecuing and grilling etiquette. Like, the thing you do is when you are introduced to the grill master, you say, "Can I get you anything? You need anything? What do you need?" You always ask that. They don't want you to do anything, but they do want to know that you're thinking about them and looking out for them. So she's like, you need paper towels, you need plates, what's going on? What do you need? What are we doing here? Instantly over. Instantly appreciate. So I'm talking to an uncle of my friend. Is this a blood relative uncle or is this a neighborhood uncle? I do not know. I will never know. This man is talking to me and we're chatting about stuff and he's asking about his niece and asking like what she's up to, what she's doing. We were coworkers and friends. And so I'm talking about it and he goes, okay. Now I haven't been, which is great. And he goes, okay, but so like, how do you practice being funny? Which is a great question to ask, right? Improv, there are improv rehearsals. People that do improv rehearse. And it's just like, well, and I was just like, well, you got to do it a lot to get better at it. But you don't want to do it all, but you want to like get better at doing it with the people that you're going to do it with in front of an audience. Because you don't want to go up there and be like still figuring it out in front of an audience. Like, I said, you don't want it to be amateur hour. He totally got that. And that was good. And then we were talking about something else. And I mentioned something else. And somebody else mentioned something. And then he goes, okay, well, I got a question for you. Big man. Called me big man. He was bigger than me. And that's totally cool. He goes, big man, why aren't you making that YouTube money? And I didn't have a good answer for him. I will never have a good answer to why I'm not making that YouTube money. Why wasn't I making that YouTube money? I think the answer I gave him is, I want to, that I said is like, well, I want to make things that people like and I like making. And hopefully someday I'll get paid a lot of money to do that. But what I don't want to do is play their game. And I didn't say who they was, but he knew who they was. And he didn't. It's like, I don't want to play their game. And he was like, okay, yeah, all right. That was my spur of the moment reason, because I've never been asked before, and I've never been asked since, why aren't you making that YouTube money? But that was a question that I was like, that's a good question. Why am I not making that YouTube money? And I think about it every now and again. Years later, one of the online battle Pokemon game had an alt costume for Bulbasaur. It wasn't Bulbasaur. It was Blastoise, and Blastoise had like a sweater and a hat and like bright pants. And Austin Walker made some joke about it, so that I felt comfortable making the joke. And I said, Blastoise looks like he's going to ask me at the barbecue. He's going to ask me why I'm not making that YouTube money, because that Blastoise reminded me of the man who called me Big Man and asked me about that YouTube money. Because it just that is the like Cedric the Entertainer style gear that this man was also working. This man did not have a fedora, but he did have a handkerchief that matched his tie that he pulled out to dab his brow, and he coordinated his handkerchief and his tie. That man, that uncle, who again, do not know who he was, but he did have it put together. Living in the Bay for a while, I was asked, when am I going to buy a house? And I said, when I can afford one. There you go, John. Yeah. It's like, I'll do my best. I'm the kind of guy that gets in, like, hey, it's been a while because of the situation, but like, I am the kind of guy that I spent a good portion of my life as an adult being invited to family gatherings for people that I knew pretty well. Like, I spent Thanksgiving with a friend of mine's family one year, and I was the only person there that was not blood related except for someone's boyfriend. But he was from Australia, so he was the center of attention because he had never had Thanksgiving before. And I was just the art girl's friend, so it was okay. The art daughter's friend. But But yeah, I've gotten invited. I was getting invited to barbecues and picnics and a pool party where it turned out I was the only person there that didn't live in Long Island. And they were fucking shocked that I took the Long Island Railroad to just get in a pool. And I had to say, like, I have not swam in a non-hotel pool since I was a teenager. And so I was very happy to come to this pool party. Because it was the kind of Long Island folks that don't go into the city. They don't go into New York City. Like, a few of them did, but a lot of them were just like, "Oh, I can't tell you the last time I was over there." It's like, "Oh, well, it's pretty cool." So, I don't know. I got sidetracked by that story, but like it is a fun. I find that story very fun. But yes, I have once been invited to the cookout. Actually, I mean, that was just one example, but I have been invited to the cookout on. Yeah, long story short, I'm not getting into ventriloquism. No. I don't think, again, advice and questions about my lifestyle. That's why we got on that subject. But yeah, I don't plan to learn ventriloquism, but I appreciate the suggestion. But I have no plans to do that. I don't fucking want to. I'm going to talk about one anime. I'm changing the script around here. I'm going to talk about one anime, and then I will talk about the other two on Monday. So we'll do that. I'm only going to talk about Catch Me at the Ballpark. Let me just take the title here. So I'm not going to do the command. Instead, I'll just do that. Because, yeah, Lord Crash, and then went off script. I told a story, and, like, some of y'all have been with me for a very long time, and you know a lot of my stories because I have been in a perpetual state of doing very fucking little since 2019. I have not really lived a full life that I can rely on to talk about. So I often go back to stories I've already told. And I haven't told that one. So that's good. So at least I have something at least I had a new story. So I was happy to tell it. Because, yeah, that anecdote I've not told in a long time. Humans are finite. Yeah. But anyway, episode 7 of Catch Me at the Ballpark. This is the series about a girl, Ruriko. She is a gal, and she works as a beer vendor at a minor league baseball stadium with a lot of regulars. And that is a phenomenon. And so this is a series about her, but also other people that also work with her in the park and their variety of adventures in the park, doing their thing. We start with the manager of the Motor Sons. That's the baseball team, Matsudo, and he is giving quotes to the press, and he is doing a vocal warm-ups with the various vendor girls, and he is like doing instructions because he is a motivational speaker at heart. He is definitely modeled after real promotional speakers who are baseball players turned promotional speakers. This is a clear homage to a couple real life people, and that was a fun bit of business in this episode. And so most of the girls think that was kind of pointless, but then in the episode, Ruriko ends up she doesn't use the exercises, but she ends up using the phrases from the exercise in her conversations to sell beer to people. And she ends this little part of the episode appreciating the manager and the work he's doing. It's a fun little bit of business. It's not, Moonshot says, I've gotten beer from a beer woman at the Yelk Swallows Stadium, and yeah, that's an experience. Yeah, it's like, they idolized the process of girls selling you beer. It's just another one of those things. So in the second one, the second baseman, does not have a nice relationship. His name is Ichinomiya. Does not have a good relationship with CCO, who is the shortstop, and they should probably, have a better rapport, but they don't. And the second baseman is dealing with feeling like he's not doing particularly great, so he's kind of bummed about that. I need A13 here. Let me find A13. Working on the head. We got some stickers. I hate having stickers in the second hour, but it happens. I need 813. Here it is. There you are. And then we get introduced to Marie Mori. Marie Mori, our cafeteria worker who tries to make people feel better with food and kind of cheers up Ichinomiya. But then Ichinomiya tries to inspired by this, tries to open up to Shishio and maybe form a bit of a better rapport. And then Shishio is just kind of annoying and ruins the moment. And it doesn't work out. And it's but maybe by the end of the episode or the end of the series, they'll figure it out and they can be nice to each other. And then the third thing is about Weekly Baseball, a magazine about baseball, which is if it's a sport or an athletic activity, there is a magazine about it still. Japan does have magazines about sports still. So that's a thing. Weekly Baseball. Ruriko is in Weekly Baseball about doing her thing. And she's bragging to our guy Murata. She's really braggadocious, and he's supportive and whatever. Because this is, even though this is a workplace thing, it's still a bit of a sitcom. The idea that these two characters are gonna maybe flirt and then meet outside of work, which is gross because he's an employee and she is a, or she's an employee and he's just an attendee at the ballpark. So it's I don't really like that. But you know me and that stuff. I don't really like that dynamic, but it's prevalent in these kinds of shows. So I can't figure out what I did with the sticker. Where'd it go? All right. There's supposed to be a red sticker here on the head, and then I can't figure out where it went. It disappeared on me. I went to pull it out, and then I think I folded it up. Well, if I find it, I'll let you know that I put it on. It was so fucking small, and it would never be noticed. There it is. I found it. It got underneath. You can't even see it on the knife. It's so fucking small. There it is. That's the size of the sticker that I'm applying. Fuck that. It's so tiny. Anyway, they have a heartfelt conversation, which is very nice, about how high school and how she feels like she has changed for the better since she started working here. And it's a nice little sweet moment. And then we find out Murata goes to get food, and we meet up with Yamada. And Yamada is another beer girl that kind of has a crush on our guy because he was really supportive, because she wants to be a beer girl, but instead she has to work in concession stands, but she still can bring smiles to people's faces. And so she might have a crush on him. And she's like, I'm also in Weekly Baseball, but they spelled my last name wrong. That's the big joke to end the episode. It's just oh, girl, I'm sorry. Yamada can't really win. She's doing her fucking best, but sometimes that's not enough. And that was this week's episode of Catch Me at the Ballpark. Look, this might be a show I can't really say like, oh, you gotta watch this. Like, this is one of the best shows of the season, but it is really fun. And like, Once Upon a Witch's Death is as you might imagine, kind of fucking heavy. Rock as Lady's Modesty is like, there's some tension involved in it. It's really good. So it's nice. Like, I mean, Lazarus is just a fun action romp, really. But it's nice to have a couple shows where I'm like, yeah, the vibes in this one are just like fun and good. And like I said, I don't love the fact that at some point, I guess our two main characters are going to start dating. I guess is going to happen. Like, I don't love that part of it. And there's also there's a Cloudtown romance, which is really fucking good, but it's also like it's a mystery that is probably not going to end great. And Apocalypse Hotel is really engaging, but also like kind of fucking sad as shit. Like yeah, there's a lot of heavy stuff this season, so I'm not mad at a couple shows that are kind of light and putting those in rotation. And that includes Catch Me at the Ballpark. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you. That's right, you friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? You watching any anime? You watching any TV? Did you watch Eurovision today? Are you also fucking pissed off at the results? I did not watch live because the Peacock audio was fucking garbage in the semifinals. So I will watch a version of it from another country in the future and watch the finals that way. But I did not want to watch the finals, especially with the semifinal 2 with Israel doing so well. I was like, oh, fuck, are they going to win this shit? They did not win. But also, I think the winning song is fucking bad. It's a bad song. Am I just fucking mad because Sweden didn't win and those fine Finnish boys, that's right, 3 guys from Finland represented Sweden, it fucking happens, that song about how saunas are good and it was really fun song, how that didn't win? Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I am mad that Sweden didn't win. I think that song was fucking good and fun. And also, the song that Ukraine submitted this year, I thought was really strong, and I would have loved to have seen that win. Israel's shitty song came in second. I was like, get the fuck out of here. What are we doing? And then also, England almost got 0 points, and that was fucking hilarious because their song fucking sucked. Holy shit, that song fucking. I'm not one for country pop, but also 3 British girls doing country pop. I'm just like, what are we doing here? Yeah. It's a weird Eurovision year. And I will go and watch. You know, I haven't seen the live performance for the winning country. So I haven't seen Austria's performance, and so I'm judging it without having seen it. So I need to see it so that I can properly judge the finals version. I think the semifinal version was fine, but I'm like, meh, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I thought this year had some pretty good songs. It had a lot of good silly songs, but I'm not super into the winner this year, and I think it will be easily forgotten. I think it will be a trivia question in 15 years, and people will go, oh yeah, who did win the 2025? And they'll be like, oh, it was, like, they'll think of like the songs that came in like 4th or 5th. No, it wasn't that. Let's see. So, Lord Crash then went and saw Thunderbolts, *, which was pretty fun. A Marvel movie where the villain is essentially depression. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. I will probably rent that in the future, because that's kind of where I'm at with movies. Is exactly where I'm at. I don't go to them in person. John started Amica MD, Doctor Detective with M. John's wife. This is a very House Sherlock coded show, but more on the tame side. No drug use. Still very slowly making way through Super Robot Wars 30 and Altier Yumia. And I'm not watching Eurovision. Yep, I hear you. Yeah, I bounced off of Amaku MD because it was just like, oh, it is just a straight, this is just like House MD, but also some crimes. And I was like, yeah, I'm all right on that. I might go back to it eventually, but yeah, I bounced off that show because it just didn't hit me in any particular way. Lashbrook says, after a group watch did the original Ghost in the Shell movie, I've been watching Standalone Complex. Hell yeah. And it really is just a comfort anime I could watch forever. Fuck yeah, dude. Also, I know it's only been a week and they have bigger fish to fry, but I hope GV figures out how to embed streams on their site again and I can stop watching full screen Twitch ads. They won't be able to. Twitch doesn't want you to do that easily. Twitch wants you to watch on Twitch. YouTube embeds might work. Twitch embeds are never going to work. Because if they figure out a way around it, Twitch is actively looking ways to stop you from doing that. They want you to watch on twitch.tv. They do not want you to watch on another website. So I'm sorry about that, Lashbrook. I do not think that's going to work out for you. They've been doing Lashbrook. They changed it because sorry, I don't mean to be mad. I know that Giant Bomb did that for a long time. I am telling you that Twitch does not want that to happen anymore, and they actively do not want you to embed live streams. You can live embed clips, you can embed VODs. They do not want third-party sites. They don't want you on like Tumblr to be watching a live stream. They want you to go to twitch.tv/whatever and watch it through Twitch. They just don't want that anymore. They make exceptions for some people, including games done quick, but they don't make exceptions for everybody, and they don't make exceptions for Giant Bomb. And Giant Bomb used to do a bunch of back-end stuff to trick Twitch, and those back-end things stopped working because Twitch didn't want them to exist. And the VLC workaround might still work. I don't know. You used to be able to open Twitch feeds. You used to be able to open it through VLC. I don't know if they patched that. But Twitch wants you to go to twitch.tv. They do not want you to watch it on other sites. They used to, because any view was a good view, but they changed their minds on that because they would rather you go and watch on their site. Having fun with a new play of Lies of P. Lies of P, says Ghost Valve. Got a ton of small things done this week, which I'm pretty happy about. Hell yeah. Otherwise, just dipping into White Lotus still, which is a bit rough. Yeah, White Lotus is not a show that you can just like marathon. I would not recommend marathoning White Lotus. You probably want to just like absorb, take a break. You know, like, yeah, I think that's a good call. Wait. Oh, yeah, okay. We're going to work on all these arms. We can do most of them the same time. And then we just have to do the right arm and left arm. The hands are different, but the arms themselves are good. Yes, John. There were some back-end tricks that they did to kind of work around it. To work around the embeds. I don't have specifics on that. I just know that that was a thing. And I know for a little while, that was a thing that, like, they were cool with happening. But I don't know if I don't think they're going to still be cool with that. But if they're streaming on YouTube, you could just watch on YouTube. I often watch streams on YouTube. Yeah, Lashbrook. Okay. All right. I don't know how to describe to you that Twitch doesn't want you to do that, and Giant Bomb had to work around it, but those workarounds only last so long because Twitch doesn't want you to embed videos. And I don't know how to describe this in a way that makes sense to you, and so I'm sorry. But my answer to the thing that you hope that Giant Bomb does is I don't think they'll be able to fulfill your hope. I don't think they'll be able to do that because their website person is Jan. All right, I refuse to talk about this anymore. So I am going to read another thing. I haven't watched Standalone Complex in a while, but that's sort of the gold standard for the series for me. I mean, John, it's very fucking good. It is a really solid adaptation. You are not wrong. That is a quality thing. The next Ghost in the Shell thing looks like it's very manga inspired, like it's going to be a closer adaptation to the manga, which will be great because I bet it'll piss people off because it's not. It is definitely a wild thing. So that'll be interesting to see. Laura Crash says, I've caught up on the Nextlander podcast where Vinny and Brad are happy with the Giant Bomb news, but also seem conflicted. Like they wish they could have gotten that kind of offer to buy themselves at some point to own Giant Bomb themselves, and how weird it is to have good people that are not themselves own the majority of their careers' videos and such. I'm sure it's weird for them. Yeah, Jeff also talked about how at some point he did, it was somewhat offhandedly mentioned to him about buying the site, which was not an actual offer, but he did like say like, are you serious? Is that something that like, could we talk about that? And it apparently was not a real offer for him to purchase the site, but he did make inquiries about that at some point to buy it. But that was, as he says, he was told CBS does not sell things because selling something that CBS, selling something was admitting failure. So his inquiry into purchasing it did not go far at all. So there was talk, there was like not serious talk, but there was some like, he was like, oh, he was serious at one point about buying it. But yes, and I do imagine that there is some bittersweetness of like at a certain point that they had to like be okay with the fact that the thing that they helped create didn't belong to them, but it never belonged to them, right? Like, yes, the founder thing and all that, but Giant Bomb was part of Whiskey Media. It was part of a startup. It just so happened to be that they had a lot of control in that startup, and then it got owned by big corporations, and then also weird companies, and got bounced around. And I would imagine the thing that you spent a lot of your good years on, being owned by somebody else now, but people and them being the steward. And like, of course, as I said on stream, and no one of them has said, but I will say, the idea that, part of, if not all of Ryan Davis's legacy is now being shepherded by people instead of a faceless corporation. Like, that feels good. But also, it's gotta be fucking weird if you're just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, Jeff introduced Dan and laughed at the introduction that he gave Dan, because it is fucking insane for Jeff Gerstmann to be like, one of the owners of Giant Bomb, Dan Reichert. That is an insane thing to say out loud. And Jeff said that out loud. And it's just a bonkers thing that he said that is true. It's wild and weird. And you have to laugh because what? Dan Reichert is one of the owners of Giant Bomb. He is now a steward of GiantBomb.com and the legacies of people who came through. Incredible writing by Austin and Patrick. All the video stuff, the podcast, the unbelievably weird ideas, the memes. Jeff, Dan, Jan, and Mike are the stewards of a blinking white guy. It's just a weird reality that we fucking live in. It's a weird non-reality in many ways. John, yeah, I mean the whiskey, so the thing is, like, depending on who you talk to, you know, like the Whiskey Media days were interesting and also like a nightmare because it's startup stuff and small teams and working hard and a lot of people and putting in the hours and all that. But it's also a really fun time. Like that era is really fun. Like it is a lot of cool personalities working their asses off. And then someday a plan to have a plan to make a plan to have meetings to someday bring back the Dragon Ball All Systems Goku podcast. Someday they'll do it. It is on an agenda that they will bring it back. Anyway, I can talk more about this, but I can't because I need to wrap up the stream. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find someone doing cool stuff, and we are going to go spend some time with them. So we will go and raid. Let me figure out who we're going to go raid. I hope you come along on this raid. I hope you come back on Monday as I continue to work on this great goddamn model kit. Speaking of Dan Reichert is currently streaming, and he is going through EGM October 1994. Why, I don't know, but Dan is doing that. So we're going to go raid Dan because that feels like the right thing to do. As John said, we always end with a raid. He's reading, yeah. So we're going to go hang out with Dan. Feel free to come along on this raid. Oh, that did not work. Why did that work? Raid. Why did that not work? Does he not have raid set up? There it is. That worked. Okay. We're going to go raid Dan. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you will come back on Monday for more model kit building, more conversation. We'll talk about some wrestling stuff that's coming up next weekend. It'll be fun. Thank you all so much for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.